smarter, aim tighter, burn brighter for super Earth and liberty. Keep on diving till we're finally free. Swarms of terror, skies on fire, impalers charge us, situations dire. But democracy's blaze eradicates, while the flames of freedom immolates. Hell pots, props, stratagems, hot super hell dives. Give it all we've got, super Earth calls, time to escalate. Veterans, rookies, gear up, don't wait. Dive harder, fight smarter, aim tighter, burn brighter for super Earth and liberty. We'll keep on diving till we're finally free.
Good morning, Helldivers. That was Escalation by Endless Taverns. I saw that the team was working on that song yesterday, and I thought to myself, yep, that's my intro for tomorrow. Everyone else can go home. I didn't even listen to it before now, and it didn't disappoint. Oh, there is a lot to go over, so let's just take it from the top. Sweet Liberty, I live for this. First, obviously, there's the new Super Helldive difficulty, which you are not expected to survive on. New mission objectives, bigger enemy outposts, new bot and bug enemies, new environmental hazards, the swamp world has been redone, crash fixes, balance work, and various other fixes, just as a highlight. Before I get into anything else, it is listed on known issues that there are some performance issues listed on difficulty 10 that the team is aware of and are already working on a fix. So combined with the extreme difficulty here, that's going to prove tricky indeed. So you might want to hold off on that for the time being. The social menu is also being worked on. This is a more ongoing process. Do bear in mind, Arrowhead R&D has to completely redo this after reliance on the mandatory PSN became no longer necessary. But I am told some improvements were made and fixes were implemented. It's just not perfect yet. Now, there are two new objectives, one involving the abduction of a terminid larva. A larva of what exactly? Who can really say? It's probably something horrible. The other involves you assaulting a human processing plant and destroying the automaton bioprocessor. Elegant proof of what the bots do to prisoners of war. Kill them all, Helldivers. God may forgive them, but your role is simply to arrange the meeting. I would also count on attacks happening on... Looking at X-45, it seems unlikely. But definitely Gakrux, so that Arrowhead can show off their new spooky swamp planet look. The new acid planet modifier is also in effect, with acid storms temporarily lowering your armor and that of your enemy. So just don't get hit, scrub. Now, let's move into balance changes. The SG-8-ish slugger has had some buffs, which I'm sure will appease many, increasing its stagger force, but also increasing its spread and its drag. So it feels like Arrowhead is seeking a good place with this weapon. And it sounds to me like peak physique combined with this might do great things. The Incendiary Breaker saw its inevitable nerfing with a decrease of total magazines from 6 to 4. Dang, that's a harsh one. Better take an ammo pack or a decent secondary, like that flamethrower pistol coming out day after tomorrow. Its recoil was nearly doubled, making follow-up shots a little more tricky, but that's just a small adjustment. Take more time between your shots and just let the damage over time effect do its thing. All in all, doesn't sound that bad. I mean, compared to what I feared they were going to do to the thing. If they nerfed the burning damage, I think there would be riots. The GP-31 grenade pistol also saw a similar nerf/buff, decreasing its ammo capacity from 8 to 6, but you're also getting more rounds per ammo box from 2 to 4. So I imagine this will work with great synergy with the ammo backpack. The CB-8 exploding crossbow is now one-handed. I did not think this needed another buff, and this is a definite surprise, but a welcome one. The AX-AR-23 Bullet Flinger Guard Dog also had its total magazines increased from 6 to 8 and can be refilled from ammo boxes scavenged off the map. Sorry, Arrowhead, nobody is still going to use this all the same. Compared to how astonishingly useful the laser guard dog is, this one is just not good. Dear viewers, if you do end up testing this, let me know in the comments. Is it still worthless? Is it better? Why do you hate yourself enough to bring this and cripple your own loadouts? As a democracy officer, I am a chief licensed therapist, so there's always someone here that you can talk to. Though the laser guard dog never overheating is listed on known issues, so its dethroning as the premier bug buster does seem inevitable now. Moving on, the orbital walking barrage saw some changes with the number of salvos increased from 3 to 5, nearly doubling its shell count. Its movement speed was also decreased by 40%, which means more shells and more of them splattering in the same area. Good buff. This barrage uses the same shells as the 380 barrage, and I like taking both, so this makes me happy. The 120mm HE barrage also got some similar lovely buffs, decreasing its cooldown from 240 seconds to 180, and speeding up the time between salvos. This was desperately needed. No one took the 120mm because the 380 was just better, and this stratagem was left lacking an identity. Now it got one, splattering bad guys and putting harsh suppression on bug breaches. Now we move on to, oh my sweet liberty. This was listed first on gameplay changes. The operational modifier, atmospheric interference, has been removed. I will say that again. Atmospheric interference has been removed completely. Yes, oh yes, Fluff, you awful, unfun, stupid mission modifier. Nobody ever liked you. You made the glory of precision orbital strike absolutely pointless every single time that you showed up. Now that shirt I own is pure truth. Excuse me. But yes, atmospheric interference has been removed. Glory to Super Roof. On various automaton planets, there is a new modifier of poor intel, which does not give you an exact location on your map for the objectives, but rather a search area, similar to how you're trying to find the location of those blasted nurseries. Seems fair, compared to how bad atmospheric interference, AA defense, and that stratagem scrambler from ages past just sucked to deal with. Corrosive acid planets no longer have the intense heat modifier. Also fair, considering they have their own conditions and identity now. Good change, I like it. It still won't make me like Esker anymore, though. Speaking of which, I recently realized that my archives were missing 3 broadcast logs, so a lot of you don't know why I hate Esker so much. Those will be uploaded either today or tomorrow. Oh, this next note is a big one. Gunship patrols are less frequent and the amount of ships are reduced. Gunship engines are less durable as well. Yes, this is a good thing. Once gunships had achieved a critical mass, you were pretty screwed. The mission was no longer recoverable, so this was a badly needed nerfing. Thank goodness. So let's see here, improve armory weapon preview controls, updated orders UI, whatever that means. Oh, energy shields, such as the shield generator pack and shield generation relay dome, now block snowstorms as well as sandstorms. But this is an interesting one. The shield is so good it can block weather? Do Helldivers still get air in there, or do we need to, poke some holes in the dome? A new grief protection system has been implemented to thwart trolls from kicking you at extraction. And let me just say that if you ever did this to anyone, you are actively making the world a worse place and you should feel terrible about what you did. But now, the kicked player will spawn into their own mission, which others can join, and they will be carrying all the samples that their team had collected prior. We'll see how this works out. Seriously, if you're doing this, stop it. Get some help. This is no way to be. I cannot look at you in a more disappointed way right now. You are why we can't have nice things, and you know exactly who you are. Now, moving on, there are some crash fixes, such as getting ragdolled into barbed wire, joining a mission with active vehicle skins from disconnected players, a crash that occurs when peers with a unique skin got checked or disconnected, and it just kind of goes on from there. The question I want to ask is, how on Super Earth did Arrowhead even know these were happening, much less how to fix them? Truly, they are savants of our time. There are some weapon and stratagem fixes listed here as well. The FS-55 Devastator armor now has the correct description. The Blitzer has a full auto trigger and will keep zapping so long as you hold down the fire button. The GP-31 grenade pistol, LAS-7 dagger, and SG-22 bushwhacker are moved into their own special sidearm category. The Blitzer and Plasma Punisher have had their missing armor penetration tags and their weapon cards updated, blah blah blah. Oh yeah, this was an obvious bug that needed fixing. The SH-20 ballistic shield no longer blocks enemies' line of sight. Videos of Helldivers doing their best solid snake impression with a shield were hilarious, at least until they realized that factory striders had an elevated viewpoint, could still see them anyway, and were quickly turned into ragu. But this was clearly unintended and got its fix. The shield also had its physics adjusted so as to not collide with the player when wielded, because that was causing some unfair impact-related deaths. I might actually give this a try now, considering the explosive crossbows one-handed. As I said prior, the AX-AR-23 Guard Dog can now be received from ammo boxes found on the map if you actually care about things like that. It might be good. Further testing is required. A fix to the vaunted arc weapons has been reeled out, and it's not what you think. Arc weapons were not misfiring because of a weapon flaw, but because line of sight with an enemy was blocked because of an obstacle. Bolts will now fire, but hit the obstacle instead, so before it just looked like the weapon was misfiring. However, against enemies that were aligned horizontally to the shooter, there was a misfire happening there. So go forth, test this out, report in the comments. I am actively taking bug reports to submit to Sky Marshal Baskinator and the rest of the Seath Brass, so do your part, divers. Help me smash those bugs, be they in the code or on Krivzica. One last note on weapon adjustments. The missing haptics was added when firing the AR-61 Tenderizer, which I assume means recoil was added. That weapon did feel laser accurate with practically no recoil, but it sounds like all that was unintended. Now, holy cow, there are a lot of other fixes implemented, and if I read through all of them, we would be here until the next update. So I have included a link to the patch notes in the description that you can read yourself. I'll just stick to the highlights. Improved performance related to terrain destruction, so your GPUs won't melt on Gakrux anymore. Hopefully. Improvements to the ballistic shield physics, as well as some other bugs related to physics in general. That is good enough that I might actually try the shield now, as I said before. Adjusted flame effects to work more realistically. Ideally, these should be super soakers firing liquid sprays that just so happen to be on fire. I haven't had a chance to look at this yet, but I am looking forward to trying this. If a hell bomb is destroyed while it is armed and the timer is active, it will explode. Yes, all of this. It makes it even explode early, so an automaton shooting this is less of an annoyance and more of a oh sweet Liberty Run moment. No more invisible mines. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. This was just awful. So many divers pointlessly lost their lives to this. Mines will no longer detonate if they are shot through a shield generator relay bubble from the exterior or situated behind a solid obstacle and shot at. Could be good for not blowing the entire minefield all at once by accident. Good mine fixes this patch. Yet another fix for the unlimited grenades slash knife bug has been reeled out. I swear, some of these bows have just the most obscure conditions. How did you people even figure this out? Patriot exosuit missiles no longer do self-damage. Good news for mech enthusiasts. Fixed explosions not working from far distances against armored enemies. Also good news for recoilless snipers. And that looks like it. Divers will be eating well today, and there will likely be a new major order soon, which I will cover in an additional broadcast. So keep your comms arrays locked into the radio angel, dear divers. I'm not finished with you just yet. For now, go forth, test these new toys, and have fun. That's an order. For liberty, for freedom, for democracy, and for Super Earth.